The first race of the iRacing CLD Pro Series season kicks off at Daytona. Brian Cherico won the heat event, and he will be on the pole. Alex Grates for Star Sim Racing starts on the outside of him on the front row to kick off the season here at Daytona. Let's take a look at your starting lineup presented by Chris Lilly Designs. On the front row, as we said, Brian Cherico on the inside, Alex Grates on the outside. In row number 2, Corey Hartz in the 57 on the outside of him, the 49 of Sartaj Mann. In row 3, Jackson Steiner and Braxton DeWeese. In row 4, Preston Cope and Glenn Bundren. In the last 2 rows, Blaze McKinney, Andrew Ramos, and then Alex Wheeler and Joseph Costello. The field would come off of turn 4 down the front straightaway and take the green flag. The first race of the season is underway at Daytona. The 4 of Alex Wheeler started in the last row. You see him back there on the right of your screen. He got a great restart, and he would move up into the top 8 early on in the race. On lap 2, the field would string out single file, but they would not stay single file for long. These drivers were hungry to make up positions. Early on, 2 drivers would fall off the draft, Preston Cope and Andrew Ramos. They said they did not want to get in the action early on. It's a long race. They decided to stay in the back. Alex Wheeler would make the first move from the 6th position, bringing Blaze McKinney in the 87 and the 60 of Joseph Costello with him on the outside lane. Trouble would strike the field on lap 5. Blaze McKinney gives an awkward bump to the 4 of Alex Wheeler, turning him into Brian Cherico, Joseph Costello, Sartaj Mann. Jackson Steiner also involved in this accident in turn 1.
Alex, I don't know if I gave you the back bump there, but if I did, that was my fault.
The field would come back to green on lap 9 of 35. Preston Cope and Alex Wheeler got a great restart on the outside, and they would end up taking the lead down into turn number 1. The field would go single file again on lap 12 with Blaze McKinney leading in the 87, 17 of Alex Grates in 2nd, and then Jackson Steiner in 3rd, and a battle for 4th between Andrew Ramos and Sartaj Mann, who has no help on the outside lane. Everything was going great until on lap 14, Sartaj Mann hooked the back end of the 17 of Alex Grates into the leader, Blaze McKinney, and the whole field would get taken out in turn 2. Big damage to the 87 of McKinney. Glenn Bundren in the 37 was involved. Grates has heavy damage. Joseph Costello was involved in this accident. Mann was the one who hooked the 17. He has heavy damage. Andrew Ramos was caught up in the accident as well. If we take a look at the replay here, you see Grates moves up just a little bit. Mann doesn't expect it, gets into his left rear, and hooks him around, and that's what caused that accident in turn 2 that caught up most of the field here on lap 15. The field would take the green once again with Jackson Steiner and Braxton DeWeese in the 8 car on the front row. Preston Cope and Blaze McKinney would be in 3rd and 4th, with Glenn Bundren in 5th. The outside lane would really start picking things up on this restart. The 8 of Braxton DeWeese would get a great push from the 87 of Blaze McKinney, and they would clear the 97. McKinney tried to make a move for the lead, but the 8 blocked him, and Costello would now take over the outside lane with Andrew Ramos behind him. Just a couple laps later, Blaze McKinney would hook up with the 60 of Joseph Costello, and they would go around the outside and take the lead away from Braxton DeWeese in the 8 car. Going into turn 3, the 97 of Jackson Steiner would slip up a bit, getting into the 00 of Brian Cherico, causing once again another accident, collecting about 4 or 5 race cars in turn 3. Preston Cope in the 24 was also involved. Heavy damage to that car, and that would bring out once again another caution. The damaged cars from that wreck would take the cars to pit road to get their damage repaired and get back on the racetrack. Costello, Preston Cope, and Braxton DeWeese in the 8 car would all come to pit road to fix their damage. Alex Wheeler would also be down pit road in the 4 car for fresh tires. The field would come back to green with just 10 laps to go, with Blaze McKinney and Jackson Steiner leading the field. The final big wreck of the race would happen on lap 26 when the 37 of Glenn Bundren gets caught up in the middle, gets a little bit squirrely entering 3, and he hooks the right rear of Braxton DeWeese into the field, collecting 5, 6, 7 cars, leaving just half the field to race it out. No caution would be thrown for this. Because it would be so late in the race, the field would race through the caution, and Andrew Ramos would be behind the dominant car of the day, Blaze McKinney. But here comes the rest of the field. Joseph Costello, Sartaj Mann, Alex Wheeler, and Preston Cope hanging in the back would continue under green. A huge run would come from Sartaj Mann and Alex Wheeler. Mann would go to the outside, Wheeler to the inside. Ramos doesn't know who to block. He tries blocking the 4 and just gets hooked, and into those 3 cars Costello would be involved. Preston Cope barely makes it through, and 2 cars are left. That accident would leave Blaze McKinney out in front and Preston Cope chasing him down with 1 lap to go into turn 3. Preston Cope had a huge run as they entered 3. He would make a move high, shoot to the bottom. McKinney makes a late block. He gets into his left rear. McKinney would save it, but the 24 of Preston Cope would roll off of turn 4. He could coast from here, and he had a clear shot to victory, and Preston Cope would win the first annual CLD Pro Series Daytona 500 in an amazing last corner pass on Blaze McKinney. Preston Cope burns it down here at Daytona. The first race of the season is his first career win here in the CLD Pro Series.